What does your body feel like in zero gravity?
What inspires you to become an astronaut?
What exercise do you do, and do you sweat in space?
Would a yo-yo work in microgravity?
So it works.
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
McAuliffe Shepard Discovery Center, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is McAuliffe Shepard Discovery Center. How do you read me? How do you read me?
McAuliffe Shepard Discovery Center, hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Hello, the McAuliffe Shepard Discovery Center strives to inspire everyone to reach for the stars, but most importantly, to honor the legacies of Krista McAuliffe and Alan Shepard. Therefore, we are thrilled that you and others on the space station are continuing Krista's legacy by performing her lessons. At this time, I will pass off to our moderator, David Brooks from the Concord Monitor and Concord Science Cafe. Thank you.
All right, enough with the boring adults on the ground. Let's get to the questions.
Hi, I'm Kaylin Tarr. How did you train to become an astronaut?
I went to school. When we are hired as astronauts, we go to for about 2 years of kind of initial training where we learn principles of aviation, how aircraft systems work and how to operate them, how spacecraft systems work, how to operate them, a lot of basic science classes, and also Russian language.
I'm Luke Morrow. How do you keep from making a mess when you're brushing your teeth?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because water really behaves strangely up here because of its the way it likes to stick together. So water makes a mess. Starting off to brush your teeth is just like on Earth. It's exactly the same thing. The mess occurs when you're trying to clean up afterwards because water likes to stick to things. Like I have it here on my fingers, and it just wants to stick. So you're trying to get rid of the toothpaste out of your mouth. It tends to creep up your face, and more often than not, it seems up your nose.
Good one.
I'm Sophie Morrow. The 50th anniversary of the lunar landing on Apollo 11. What do you dream of us accomplishing in the next 50 years?
Yeah, 50 years ago, it was a very proud moment when Americans went to the moon. But they made it very clear at that time they went for all humankind. And I think the next 50 years will be a continuation of what we're doing here on the International Space Station, where humans from different countries and cultures and ideas have come together, built an amazing space station, and continue to operate it, even with all the stuff going on back on Earth. And I think when we go back to the moon and off to Mars, we're going to do it as a species, not as Americans or Russians or whatever the nationality. We're going to go there as human beings, and I think that'll be a great moment for the people of Earth.
All righty, next.
I'm Nick Morrow. What do you do all day?
Like when you arrive at school on the first day of school, as you will here in a few weeks, you'll be handed a schedule and tell you what your day is going to be like. That's what our days are like on the International Space Station, but we get a new schedule every day, and it basically runs from about 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. We have about 2 hours built-in exercise time and also time to eat, but the days are really full. We repair things, we install hardware, and the bulk of the time we spend doing science experiments.
I'm Maxwell Wojtek, and my question is, what experiments do you do on the space station?
We do all kinds of experiments on humans and human health, and physics, biology, chemistry. For me, one of the most rewarding things I've done, there's been a lot of really interesting things. We've learned, we're trying to figure out what kind of bacteria is up here living with us, and we do that by looking at some of the chemicals in the cells called DNA. And I've also been part of growing some plants and algae. When we go off into the solar system, we're going to need to grow plants for food and for oxygen. And I've been growing some plants and some simple algae up here on the space station so we can learn how to better cultivate that stuff. So when we go out into the solar system, we will take plants with us.
Stand on the X. What's your name?
My name is. Besides the space station itself, what is the most interesting piece of technology on board the International Space Station?
Yeah, that's a great question, because just even in what you can see, like right behind me is a small airlock where we can put science experiments out into space and see what happens out there. Even in this area around me, there's all kinds of science experiments and different technologies. One of the really interesting things for me that we've been working on is this device called a cold atom lab. And it's going to get down to temperatures that really are some of the coldest in the universe here on the space station, so we can understand how the very small particles that make up all life and all matter, how they operate. And we can do it by getting them super cold. So I'm really excited. We've gotten some really good science out of that already, and I look forward to some really important discoveries in the future.
All right, we could use a little cold down here at the moment, but our next question.
Understand.
My name's Sarah Pollard, and is time different on the space station?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways I could take that question. I think what you're asking maybe is the time zone. We kind of work from 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. We go to bed around 10:30, 11 o'clock, just like we do on Earth. So our day-to-day is fairly similar. We're on a different time zone than you are in New Hampshire. We're on Greenwich Mean Time, so we're more closely aligned to what the time zone is in Europe. So I think we're about 5 hours ahead of you right now, so 5 hours ahead. So I'm kind of at the end of my work day while you're sort of in the middle of your day. And we do that because we have control centers all around the world, in Japan and Russia and in Germany and also in the United States. And we try to find a kind of nice middle-of-the-road time zone where everyone can, in the middle of the day, can kind of be up and working.
Okay. Stand on the X.
What is it like being weightless in space, and is it hard to move around?
What's your name?
Theodore Coulter.
It is actually incredibly easy to move around in space. We can move around really heavy objects. We can move ourselves around really easily. The downs, and it's a lot of fun. One of the downsides of that is everything you own can also move just as easily. So imagine trying to keep your room clean and organized, how hard that is on Earth when you sit them down, they don't float away. Well, up here, you sit something down, you might not find it again for weeks or even months later.
My name is Caroline Gilbert. What was your inspiration to become an astronaut?
It was the work that other astronauts like Krista McAuliffe and those other people who've come before me, the importance they saw in what we do and the importance, how they understood our mission, the importance of our mission. That was a very inspirational to me as someone when I was growing up and when I was your age and even older when I got older and decided this is a career I'd like to pursue.
My name is Elijah Howard, and what are 3 things you missed most from Earth?
Hi, Elijah. I've been up here about 150 days or thereabouts, I think, so far, maybe 140 days. So definitely my family and friends. I miss fresh fruit and vegetables, and I miss the weather, and even the hot, humid weather on the East Coast, like where I grew up, even in Houston, I miss the weather.
Okay, next. Stand on the X.
My name is Micaiah. My question is, what 3... No.
That's all right. That's okay. What about the ISS will you miss
Take your time.
most when you return to Earth?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. I miss the people. I'll miss the view of our planet, of course, but I'll miss the people up here. It's a great sense of community, both with the people that I'm up here with and the team that's been helping us along on the ground. Of course, we'll all be together again when I get back to Houston after the mission, but it'll be different, and we'll have great memories of the mission, but I will miss the time I've had with them up here.
My name is Tristan Moffat, and what is your favorite space food?
So most of our food selections come in something a little bit larger than a shoebox. So to give you an idea that after 140 some days, I'm running low on favorite space food right now. But if I had to make a choice, I think we have a chicken and peanut sauce, which is pretty good, especially if I put more peanut butter in it and some hot sauce. It's still pretty tasty.
My name is Alex Lowe, and how do you sleep on the space station?
We all have our own crew quarters. It's about the size of a refrigerator, so it's very small. And what you see me doing here is about like how I sleep. I sleep with a sleeping bag on the wall with a few straps to hold me down, and my arms kind of floating and my head kind of floating. So you're kind of looking at how you sleep. But you can really sleep anywhere up here. It's quite comfortable just to kind of float as long as you don't bump into anything.
Hello, my name is Haloon Siddiqui. How do you prepare for a spacewalk, especially a long one?
Well, we have to get our suits ready, which takes a lot of time. They're very complicated machines, our spacesuits, because they're little tiny spaceships in essence. So that takes a fair bit of time. And then we also have to practice, almost like a rehearsal or studying for a test. So we spend a lot of time kind of studying and preparing. The other thing we do is we exercise. Moving around in a spacesuit is hard work, and we exercise every day. So when we go out for a 6.5 or 7 hour spacewalk, we're in good physical condition to do it.
Thank you. All righty. Next.
Hi, mine's Ethan. What is the coolest or weirdest thing you have seen while on the space station?
Cool and weird.
Well, one of the cool and weird things is just the way water behaves, and I've talked about that earlier. It just sticks together, the bubbles form perfect spheres, and just watching the way water behaves is a really interesting and cool thing. The other thing is watching our Earth. It's a very dynamic planet. Just yesterday, I was looking out the window and I saw a major Category 4 hurricane in Hawaii, the big island of Hawaii, with an active volcano erupting, all in one window pane. And just how dynamic our planet is just, it's an endless source of fascination for all of us.
Oh, thanks.
I'm Samuel Cole, and how was the International Space Station constructed, and what was it like installing solar array wings and truss?
The ISS was built all over the world. The modules were constructed all over the world. They were then sent, they either launched from Kazakhstan or launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, and they were assembled together, the entire modules, for the very first time here on the space station using a robotic arm, a large robotic arm, and people out doing spacewalks. So it was incredibly complicated, this whole process of erecting this magnificent space station up in low Earth orbit over a number of years. Installing the solar arrays was a really great day for us because I knew at that point, with all the solar power we could then, the electricity we could then generate, we could go from 3 ISS crew members to 6 ISS crew members and start doing the science we really wanted to do. So a really complicated process. It takes place on the Earth and up here in space, and it was a really amazing thing to watch over the years.
Okay. Was it easier or harder than assembling something from Ikea?
Good question. It was probably easier because we had really good plans and really good hardware. So attaching the S6 truss was really just a couple of 4 bolts and a few grounding straps. So they make it pretty easy for us.
How long does it take to get used to microgravity? My name is Amelia Mofoy.
The interesting thing is, the first time I flew in space, it probably took 3 or 4 days before I was feeling really comfortable being here, because you can feel a little sick when you first arrive to space. This time, it's like my brain remembered, and we launched in a Soyuz, and I instantly felt fine. I was eating, I was sleeping, I was very comfortable. It was almost like your brain can figure it out. Oh yeah, I've been here before. I know what this is like, and it adjusts very quickly. And going back to Earth will be interesting to see how that goes, because that's another adjustment. I'll be up here for 200 days, and then to go back to gravity again, it could be very interesting.
Okay.
Will people make it to Mars? My name is Mary Gilbert.
Yes. That is why all of us are up here. All the people on the ground are working at NASA, and our other international partners are all doing what they do. The adults who are in the room with you, that's why they do what they do, because they want someone your age to be the one to be the first human on Mars. So yes, we will get to Mars.
Period.
My name is Graham Roberts, and if you could have one thing on the space station that you weren't allowed to bring, what would it be?
I had a fellow astronaut tell me many years ago, when you get to space, the very first thing you want to do is to have all your friends and family there with you so they can see and experience what you see. And I think that is absolutely true. That is the one thing you just wish you could share. Words escape me. Photographs don't quite do it justice. Every human being should have this experience to realize what a truly precious planet we share and call home.
My name is Horatio Vassar. Since you are in space, can we assume that you are a science geek? What else do you geek out about?
Yeah, my daughters would definitely agree that I'm a geek, so thanks for that, I think. Yeah, I definitely enjoy science. I'm a bit of a naturalist. I studied biology and marine science when I was in school, but I've always been more of a generalist. So even things like geology I find really fascinating. Meteorology I find fascinating. But you already said about science. One thing that I'm also very interested in, I read a lot about history, because to me we we can learn a lot about where we are now when you reflect on what we've done in the past.
My name's Evelyn Smith, and my question is, was it scary traveling into space?
Yeah, Evelyn, you know, kind of, I guess, getting ready for your first rocket launch. It's a little intimidating to be thinking about leaving the planet for the first time. But one of the really nice things about this job is you get to meet all the people around the world who make space flight possible. And when you realize how committed they are to doing their job right every single time, the passion they have for their job every single day, you learn to trust the team that is responsible for getting you here, taking care of you while you are here, and getting you home safely. And so that makes it a lot less scary, considering what we do for a living.
All right, we got time for one more question, and I'm going to ask it because they're not paying me. How much exercise? Oh, we do not. Okay, that's it. We would like to thank our astronauts, so we are going to say
thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Have a great school year, and thanks for joining me today on the International Space Station, New Hampshire. Keep up the good work and keep the dream alive.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
All the participants from the McAuliffe Shepard Discovery Center. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.